you for sticking with us. We got one more, last but not least. Willie Genius is an unapologetic Afro-queer entertainer, producer, and community resource activist from Houston, Texas. Currently residing in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, New York.
And in this story, Willie takes the ride of their life.
All right, give it up for Willie, y'all.
Get the most, not the less. Gets no love. She be from her, giving all that she got. About on the couple, pulling billions off the line. I smashed up the plane, one bought me a bag. Every time I hit the parking lot, we turn heads. Some hoes wanna choose, but the bitch is too scared. Now what's the race? You ain't a pimp, you a parent. Y'all better keep singing. Come on, black folk. Come on, black folk of the diaspora. How y'all doing? Yeah, I'm good. I'm used to. Let me go move this over a little bit. There we go, right here. How's everyone? Good evening, y'all. All right. Look at y'all face a little bit. Okay. So, as they mentioned, I'm from Houston, Texas, right? H-Town, stay out. Y'all. So I recently just got back from a trip home to Houston. I actually was there the weekend of Renaissance in Houston. Can y'all imagine? The city was, wait, who was there? I'm not your friend no more. I actually thought about that when I saw your silver boots. Come on, Club Renaissance. So I wasn't at the concert, but y'all, okay. The shade, the shade, okay. I'll be seeing you later, girl. I'm taking the boost. But y'all, okay. So I'm in Houston and actually attend this church called St. John's downtown. It's right on the edge of downtown Houston. Beyonce actually is a member of the church as well. So I go home and unbeknownst to me, they actually created this state-of-the-art radio station now, Amazing 102.5. And I was asked to be on the Amanda Sapp morning show. So I go home to my hometown and I'm on the morning show talking about my experiences, my theater show, Willie Gets Naked, which just premiered off Broadway. Sold out show, 5-minute standing ovation, but who's bragging, right? Anywho, so y'all can imagine, like I'm here, and I noticed that when I show up, there's a lot of fuss going on. I'm like, oh, all this for me? What I did not know is that they were setting up because, unbeknownst to me, Beyonce was giving away 31, I believe, public housing units, right? Her and Kelly Rowland. So they were like, Beyonce's coming, Beyonce's coming, Beyonce's coming. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm gonna meet Beyonce finally. But y'all, we're gonna take a little turn. So as I am at this radio station and I'm being interviewed, it dawns on me, you're a little hot on these lights, y'all. It dawns on me that two seminal events in my life had happened just, when I say blocks away from where we were sitting, right? Also, I should mention, while I was in the car, I ended up having to leave because I was there super early. And literally, y'all, 10 minutes later, I'm in the Uber and I see Beyonce standing right where I was. Right? Like, I'm like, okay, take me back. But anyway, so I'm standing there and I'm having a real existential moment. I'm like, oh my God, this is literally across the street. Used to be a record label by the name of Music World Records. Now, somebody mentioned Dangerously in Love album earlier, right? Who was that mentioned? Dangerously in Love. So this is where she actually recorded the album, right? This is where the business offices was. There was a recording studio, and there was a literal House of Darion, which was a performance space where new artists would work out and learn their performance. This is where I got my start working in entertainment and in fashion. So I'm like, man, this is, and literally I met, I won't say who the artist is, but one of Solange's best friend, and we moved here to New York 13 years ago, right? So I'm just like, man, and it's level now, so there's nothing there. But I'm like, this was big, this was major, and then to be across the street being interviewed for my works here in New York, That's big. But then it dawned on me that just about 2 blocks away from there was an area of Houston called The Cut. Now I'm gonna take you on a ride through The Cut real quick, all right? Now, growing up in Houston, on the south side of Houston, literally right around the corner from the Screw Shop, if y'all know DJ Screw, right? Literally from South Park, where same neighborhood as Megan Thee Stallion. When you were the youngest, because we had to learn to start driving very early. And if you were driving, they would say, okay, hey, we need you to run to the grocery store and go get whatever. Any time of the day, any time of the night, whatever, right? We would also have to drop off everyone at home. So, I forget exactly how old I was, but one night my parents came and they were like, hey, we need you to drop all your cousins off at home. And so I'm like, okay. And so one of my cousins, who is a beautiful black trans woman, was like, hey, we're gonna drop everybody else off and I want you to drop me off last. So y'all, in that moment, we drop everybody off and we all across the city of Houston, right? And then she says to me, hey, let's go on the edge of downtown. I'm gonna show you this space. So we go to The Cut. Now, as we're driving through the cut, it is where all of the sex workers are. And I'm talking trans women, and I'm talking trade. Y'all know what trade is, right? Okay. So this became a ritual of ours. We were like, you know what? Every time we got to drop folk off, we're going to go and we're going to drive through the cut. Y'all, we would just go, we would let our windows down, and it was like almost like a parade. The girls were walking, the cars were stopping. It was a young gay black boy in Houston, Texas. It was a smorgasbord of just fun and freedom and other things, right? So, after a while, I started going through the cut by myself. And as someone who did not have a lot of mentors in order to be able to talk about my sexual experiences, it was how I, if you will, kind of navigated learning about gay sex. And so I would slide through, pick up a little piece of trade, and then we would go to a park or a dark street, and we would probably do some kind of oral or something like that, right? So one night, my parents says, okay, take everyone home. So I think to myself, I done saved up some money. I want to do a little more than just something in the car. I was like, well, we're going to get a little motel room. We're going to get this popping, right? So I drop everybody off at home. Actually, before that, my sister hands me the keys to her 2-week-old Grand Jeep Cherokee car that one of my cousins had just gifted her, right? 2-week-old. And so, okay, I drop everyone at home, and then I go through the cut, y'all, and I find this fine piece of trade. When I say he was fine, okay? He gets in the car. I'm like, okay, we're going to drive to the other side of downtown, which is right where 3rd Ward is, which is where Beyonce is from, right? It's either mansions or public housing. That's the vibe of 3rd Ward. We were not near the mansions, okay? So we went to a Mosey Wozy. Y'all know what the Mosey Wozy is? Okay, there's hotels, there's motels, and then there's the Mosey Wozy. You don't want nobody to see you coming in or out of there, okay? And I mean, it was in the back of the hood, as I call it. So we had to go up a little incline. So we go up in the incline, we drive in, and once again, in my sister's Grand Jeep Cherokee. I pull in, and I park the car, and I get out to walk and go pay for it. And I'm excited too. I'm like, I'm about to get my back done, y'all. I'm about to get my back blown out. Trey about to rock my shit. Like, I knew it was about to happen, y'all. So I'm walking up to the window to pay for the room, right? And mind you, it's one of them kind of, it's a man in the window, you pay by the hour, like it was that, okay? So I walk up and I'm finna pay, and something tells me to look over my shoulder. And the moment I look over my shoulder, I see this Negro hop into the driver's seat. Skirt! I try to run up to the car to open the door, and of course he's locked the door, and he drives off. And once again, the Mosey Wozy is on an incline, so he drives off so fast, he doesn't even stop for the incline. There's sparks flying from this vehicle, okay? And I am like running, trying to stop him. I don't know why I was running, like it was gonna, wait, don't run, don't leave, don't leave in my my sister's car. Anyway, needless to say, he drove off with all my sister's things and my things too. My phone was in there, wallet. I thought about the lady in red from Intozaki Shange, right? Somebody almost drove off with all my things. Except he literally did. Right? And so I go back to the motel in Mosey Wozy, and I'm like, oh my God, someone just stole my car. And I was like, I need to call the police. And he said that the man in the window says, you can call the police, you can use my phone, but don't you tell them you were here. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I quickly come up with a little lie. I'm like, okay. So I was at the corner grocery store. I hop out and run in, and I come out, and I leave the keys in the car. I leave the car running. Come outside in time to see the man driving off. Ran down the street, and this motel was the closest thing. That was my lie, right? I said it to the cops. I said it to my family. I had it down pat, right? So, yeah. So I called my grandmother. She sends my aunt who lives in Third Ward to come pick me up. Now my aunt pulls up and she like, what you doing over here? And I tell her my story. I don't tell her the truth. I tell her my truth in the moment, right? My story I concocted. And she looked at me like, that ain't what happened, but okay. And so we rode in silence all the way back to my parents' home. And we go into the home, actually she drops me off. I go inside. I'm sitting with my grandmother and my sister, and we're crying about what happened. But, we're also like, you know what? It's just something material things can be replaced. And my parents are like, at least you're okay. Like, the right parent thing to do, right? So she finally gets us calmed down, y'all. And mind you, I missed the most important part. Y'all, I am 17 years old at the time. I'm sorry I didn't share that. I am 17 years old, okay? And so mind you, I'm a junior in high school. Like, I'm trying to, it was the wildest thing, right? So we're sitting there, and we finally all kind of go to sleep. We're calmed down, and then we get a phone call. It was the Houston Police Department. They called because I guess the manager at the Mosey Wozy told the truth and said, and so they get on the phone with my parents and say, well, your son was here and got the car stolen because he was actually here with a male prostitute and he was paying for sex. So that is literally how I came out to my family. The whole reason that I found myself going to the cut was because for me, it provided a space for me to be able to navigate and learn some things without my family finding out, right? And so for me, talk about a dark period at 17 years old, because not too many of us have the tools at that age to process and deal with something like this. It was actually the first time that I thought about harming myself, And what this particular instance taught me about my body was that maybe pleasure isn't something that people in fat, black, gay bodies deserve. And even pleasure is one thing, right? But also being shielded from consequence. It told me that people in my body have to face and deal with all of our consequences immediately too, right? I didn't get a turnaround. It was like, no, you're gonna deal with it right here and now. And so, well, to tell you the story, we did get the car back. Okay? We got the car back like a week later. They found it on the other side of Houston. But for me, and mind y'all, I've been sitting with this story probably since I was around 17, like since I was that age. Like, I didn't know what to do with this, right? Like, something so critical and devastating. It's like, where do I go with this? What do I do with this? And now, being forced out of the closet by the state, right? By agents of the state, forced me out of the closet, right? And now, at 39 years old, identifying as a Black trans person, Willie Richard Dean, which is my given name, that trauma that he went through, that forced outing, he's now created a space for Willie Riodine to be able to come out as a black trans woman. And so for me, this coming out is gonna be way different. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be the beauty that Willie Raya deserves. Thank y'all for having me. And thank y'all for going on this wild ride with me, okay? I'm up here sweating. I don't know if it's the ancestors, the guilt, the shame, all of it.
All right. We have another craft behind the release with Willie the Genius. Welcome, Willie. So excited to talk to you about storytelling, about your piece, so many things, about your creative practice. So jumping right in, Willie, I'm curious how you identify creatively. Do you consider yourself a writer, a storyteller, an artist, or maybe another word?
Oh, I was gonna say just dope, right? Like I'm just creatively, I am amazing. I am a star, and no, seriously.
Period.
Well, true, but let's see. I guess more rooted. I identify as being a griot, a storyteller, and I use all, and so specifically the griots were the storytellers of West Africa. And I feel like I am continuing in that legacy, and I use multiple mediums to storytell. I realize, I think I first really, well, I've always had a mouth and been able to talk from in church, from giving your Easter speeches and and being on program. Like I was the one, really, we need somebody last minute, and I would have to write something and deliver something. And I never knew that would pull, that was, was transferable into actually being on stage and being an entertainer, which is also another medium of storytelling. So all mediums from playwriting to script writing to even developing unscripted series for TV. I've done, yeah. And even through fashion. In college, I launched a clothing line. And I started it as a student organization because I knew student organizations could access funds from the university.
Oh, yeah.
And so my first collection was funded by the school. And they even flew me to New York for Fashion Week. Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, honey, we was working.
He was making it work.
Baby, I'm going to figure it out and how to make it work for all of us, And so, but I was storytelling through fashion. And so I realized, you know what, I actually need to use my voice and tell that story and allow the fashion to elevate the story that's being told. And so, yeah, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah, I love it. You mentioned the word griot, which for some reason I had a feeling you would say that. Maybe I've heard you refer to yourself as a griot before, but it's very fitting for you. But I'm curious, when you think about storytelling within the context of griots, like what makes storytelling so essential, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. That's really good. What makes storytelling so essential is I don't know why this quote is coming up right now, and as it's coming up, so are literally the goosebumps. I don't know if you can see them. They are. Yes, they are. Like goosebumping. Is this quote from my high witch, as I call her, Zora Neale Hurston, that if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. And me,
Yeah,
I know. And normally when I say it twice because it when you are silent about your pain, if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. And that is so telling. For me, one, it tells me to always speak up and say the thing that needs to be said. But more so, whose vantage point are we looking from, right? Once again, right, if I am silent about my pain, they will try to kill me. I say they're gonna try, right? They're not gonna kill me. They're gonna try. And they will say that I enjoyed this experience when I didn't. And so it's for me to let them know, no, I don't like none of this. Actually, let me tell you what is happening from my vantage point, And so I, a lot of times, as a black queer, black trans individual, a lot of people are always telling our stories for us. Even the the documentary, which a lot of people know, Paris is Burning,
Mm-hmm.
was created by a white cisgender heterosexual woman, Jenny Livingston, and it came out years later that she had actually really exploited the people in that film, and that many of the people in the film either died you know penniless, if you will, while she was making a bag off of their name and their story. And so to me, it was very important that I get in the driver's seat and I tell my own story and that we tell our own stories. And so even,
Mm-hmm.
pull that thread through a little bit. Um, I created a house, a ballroom adjacent house. That's also a production house. It operates in any capacity it needs to operate for my queer and trans, black and brown youth. My babies, as I call them, called the Ancestral House of Genius. And our mission is that we are modern day griots. We are the tellers of our stories from the mainstream to the margins and back. We are the ones doing
Yes.
it, and so,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Um, I'm curious how you define your voice. Speaking of telling our own stories, how do you define your voice in your storytelling? How do you think it comes through on the page? How it sounds when you're performing? Is it very true to the everyday walking Willie, or is there something different when you're translating your thoughts into another vehicle?
Whew, I'm going to use this kind of. I'm going to answer this in two parts. One, I would say, yeah. So it's very real. It's very vulnerable. It's very in the moment because, and it's so interesting because once again, I didn't have access to any of these questions beforehand, right? I didn't know what you were gonna, and I try not to even over prepare for this, right? I kind of come in. My grandmother taught me Bamboo was her nickname, right? One of my cousins, my older cousin, couldn't say grandma; she would say Bamba, and then Bamboo came out, right? Bamboo would always
I
say
love
that you
it
got to
so
keep
much.
something in your belly. I know, right? It's so black too.
Mhm.
It's so black. And the funny thing is now that older cousin is now Dr. Ronnie Lee Dean, honey. She is, so I
Okay.
love, right? Like we love it. But yeah, and so, but Bamboo would always say you got to keep something in your belly, right? You got to keep something and be prepared. Like she was a vocalist at church. So if they called up and hey, we want you to sing a song, you got to have something already prepared. And so for me, there are certain things I'm just always kind of prepared with. Always a story, always a whatever I'm dealing with in the moment. And I try to give it through the lens of, or the vehicle of what people need. I understand that even to get, a little metaphysical, I'm a Virgo ruled by Mercury, the planet of Mercury, which is known as the communicator, the satellite kind of between us and the sun, right? Or if we think about in Greek mythology, Mercury was the messenger god between the main god and the other gods, right? And so
Mm.
I see myself as that messenger, right? Like I see myself as someone who is delivering and channeling from the great big spirit, God, ancestors, transcestors, as I love to say, and making it palatable for people. I often say I make very complex things simple and very simple things very complex, right? I know how to make the most mundane black thing and flesh it out into something that feels very like a dissertation, and take something that is very, very, very complex and make it simple for the people who need to access it. And so I try to, her name is leaving me right now. Afrofuturist.
Octavia Butler?
Thank you. I knew you were gonna. I threw that out because I knew you were gonna help me. One of the things that I learned from our ancestor is to speak plain, speak simple, keep it simple. I know the big words. I know them. I can access them. I can
Mm.
use them. But ultimately, words are a tool, and I try to remember that words are just a tool, right? So if I want to build a small box, I'm going to use a hammer and nails. If I want to build a building, I'm probably going to need something a lot bigger. And so being aware of that, I try to use words as a tool, right? What do I need to do? What do I need to accomplish here? And ultimately, it's to pull at it's to make them feel something, not even to pull at their emotions, to make them feel something, to make them feel, you know. We've talked and I've shared with you about my former addiction to crystal meth. Um, when talking about that, everybody might not know what it feels like. Actually, most people probably don't know what it feels like to be a crystal meth addict, right? But most people know what it feels like to go overboard with something, right? Eating a little too much, maybe had a little too much sex, maybe, maybe talking too much to the wrong person, we know what overindulgence feels like and not having self-control. And so if I can get to those spaces, we can then start to have we can begin to humanize each other too, right? Like we're like, oh, I know what that feels like. Oh, I never lost $20 million, but I lost $20 last week and I know what that feels like, And then the other thing, I hate to move on camera, but I just got such a visual person. This is the other way that I like to define my voice as the trumpet. I'm a trumpet. So I played trumpet in high school. Back at Worthing High School, I was in marching band, honey. We was one of them good old boom. We used to march in a Mardi Gras in New Orleans, right? Like it's very Southern, very and so it's so funny when I first moved to New York, my daddy bought me this trumpet and sent it. It was like, look, if you get broke, get out there and get to making some money. So I kept the trumpet, and I'm so happy I did, because even through the drug addiction and everything, I just kept it because I was just like, it was one of the things that just stuck with me, and I was like, I'm taking this everywhere I go, and I ended up naming it for my mother, who is now an ancestor, Mia. So her name is Mia, and I actually played her in my theater show. But I realized that my voice is a trumpet, and in terms of like a marching band, every instrument kind of plays a different aspect of the song. Traditionally, most songs, the trumpet plays the vocalizing part, right? So I can't even think of a song, but anything is typically it's singing the part that is the words, that are the words, right? And so that is how I move through the world. And so even, in marching band, a lot of way I remembered my music was knowing to play the song. Or playing the words. I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't come up with a tune, but almost any song that you can think of, the trumpet is playing the words. It's playing the actual lyrics of the song. And so therefore, I see myself as a trumpet. Like I'm a trumpet for the people, honey. And so, and myself, I'm a trumpet for my goddamn self too. Sorry.
Yes,
It's cussing over.
absolutely. No, you can. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
you said so many amazing things. I'm taking notes. Um,
Oh,
I'm curious, what you think is the anatomy of a good story?
the anatomy of a good story. The anatomy of a good story. I believe the best. I'm gonna say the best way, and then the anatomy. The best way is to get in and get out, right? Do not drag it on. Do not tell every single detail. I mean, if it's, once again, if it pulls out any emotion out of me, more than likely I know it's going to pull something out of the people. So, but everybody doesn't need to know everything. And I realize most people, especially in sidebar, when dealing with I also part-time work with youth, LGBTQ youth, and sometimes they want to tell you a story. They want you to understand what they've been through, and they want to tell you every single detail. because they think you will not know me if you do not know that this woman hit me and that she was wearing orange and that her socks was this size and that, like, and I'm like, baby, I don't I don't need to know all of that. Tell me the core moments. Tell me the things, you know?
Yes.
And so what those things are, I think is, first of all, is setting it up, right? Set the story up. Give me the world. Tell me where we are, right? Tell me the universe. I call my work the Willieverse. Bring me into the Willieverse before you start telling me the details of the things, right? Bring me in so I know how to act and I can see where we are. And then I believe take people on a journey. Where's my script for Willie? I'm doing a lot of moving on this. So I hope ain't nothing crazy in the background.
No.
This is actually my script from when I did my theater show, Willie Gets Naked. Look at that. Look,
Yes.
the plays that came off. And so, look, this copy. And one of the things I wrote at the top, take the audience on this journey.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it, but take the audience on this journey. And that is my job as a storyteller, is to take the audience with me on the journey, right? And I try to, once again, keep it very simple and to the point. I believe in using colorful language, right? Also, sidebar, my background is in marketing. So I understand the value of, if I'm talking about food, I might use words like, you know what, I'm going to cook up something that is, you get what I'm saying? Like invoking,
Oh,
using
that's
words
so
that
smart. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
hmm
so whatever it calls for, really kind of using those words to help people lean into whatever the energy is, whatever the moment is, whatever the journey is, using that language that kind of helps to foster them along that way. And then a cute conclusion. Wrap it up, tie it up, tell people, and I believe too, I do most, a lot of my friends who are writers, they don't like to give it a nice bow. They say that
Yep.
they don't like to clean it up nicely, right? I believe, as black folk, who we have always, like, I think, okay, no, I want to be very specific, right? I think white people who have had access to the most resources throughout modern time, and really probably before even modern time, um, they can afford to have these, oops, it didn't turn out the best way for us in their stories, right? Oop, it wasn't really lovely, like, you know what I mean? But we got through it,
Mm,
but black folk, we deserve to have that happy ending. We deserve a happy
mm.
ending. And so for me, I want my work at the end for us to have our payoff. Or at least, and once again, it's the
Mm.
Willieverse. In the Willieverse that I created, Willie gets to have Willie's payoff. I get to
Yes.
win. To win.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And that's important to me. It's very important to me, and it's important to me to allow the audience to see Willie win. Because if you can see and I'm gonna drop a few things right now, but if you can see a former drug addict, HIV positive, grew up in the South, like if you can see me win, then you can probably see yourself win at whatever it
Yes.
is, right? You can probably imagine that you can get through this thing just a little bit better. And so yeah, tying it up, giving that nice conclusion with also a call to action, right? Some kind of call to action. The call to action might just be in your joy, you know?
hmm
In our storytelling, I ended with talking about how, you know, essentially it was my coming out, right? It was how I
Yep.
came out to my family. The incident that transpired that I talked about was my coming out. And um I gave a little more information by sharing with the audience, that since that coming out was so volatile for me, the coming
Yep.
out for Willie Raya, who I am
hmm
transitioning into, trans femme that I am, and also becoming publicly, if you will. I
Yes.
am going to let that be loud and beautiful for her, right?
Yes.
And so even though that wasn't a exact call to action, it was kind of built in. It was kind of like
Yes,
you, even though we've had these horrible things happen to us, we all can make the next, or we can rewrite our stories, right? Because once again, who's telling the
absolutely.
story? Who's telling it? Who's telling this story? Me, you are telling yours, right? And so we
Absolutely.
now get to retell that story, or we get to reimagine this in the way that we want. And so
Yes.
that is my way of navigating this.
That is fantastic, Willie. It's so interesting because Nika and I have spoken to all the writers and storytellers that read at release, and Chloe said something similar that at the ends of her stories, she likes to offer a bit of catharsis because she likes to imagine another possibility for an ending, imagine an alternate ending where people get to win, just as you said. And Cam, who's written about lots of ways that her culture says that women should show up in the world. She wants to rewrite that narrative every time. So it's just really fascinating to see these overlaps and how you all look at storytelling. It's beautiful.
You just gave me goosebumps. Yeah.
I think you'll have something really interesting to say about this. What is the function of honesty in your work?
What is the function of honesty? Who liberation. Simple as that. I'm gonna start there and then pull that through. But that's the truth is, honey. It's liberatory. It's liberative. It is liberation at its core. It is. But seriously, there's a freedom in being honest, right? Like there's a freedom in, I just don't like you. Right? There's a freedom in, right? Like oh, this might cost me a job. It might cost me a friend, but oh, I ain't got to wear this no more. I ain't got it. You get what I'm saying? Like it's and so like there's I do believe the function. I want to be clear. I believe the function because of the word that's evoked or invoked function. I think the function of honesty is a well lived life. That's the function of it, right? I think the function of honesty is honesty. I believe in. I was just having a conversation with someone the other day about, and this is, I really root myself in this, black root myself, as my friend, she came up with this word, black rooting, the opposite of whitewashing, right? Black rooting. Feel free to take that.
That's yes.
But isn't that good? Black rooting, right? Is doing the right thing for the right reason, right? Doing the right thing for the right reason. And sometimes we got to do the wrong thing for the right reason, but or the wrong, but I'm talking about making sure that the reasoning, the why is truly right. And so not going and feeding people because I'm hoping that I'm going to get blessed down the line, or I'm hoping that it comes back, but I'm feeding people because people are hungry. The right thing for the right reason, right? And so honesty for honesty's sake, right? Honesty because anything outside of that is just what are we creating with being dishonest, right? What are we hiding? Why are we hiding it? Also, I should mention, my goal is for Willie Raya is to she's gonna be Dr. Willie Raya, Dean at some point, right? And my goal is I want to get that sociology PhD that was denied to Zora. That they allowed her into the program, but they let her get that doctorate. They never, and it was because of Massage Noir. We know that. But specifically, excuse me, what I've been sitting with, my kind of thesis, if you will, is why are Black people so prone to drama? And you can feel free to. I love to see what people say with this. And I don't know. Did I ask you this already? No.
No,
No.
but
Okay.
that's a heavy one. Oh my God. God.
And there's no wrong way. And
the drama just courses through at every turn. Is some drama. I'm about to go into the
Why do you
holidays, and I'm like, Lord, bring on the drama. What's gonna happen this time? Like, just drama, 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 drama,
why do you
all the time.
think black people are, and you can throw it back to me if you need to, but like, why do you think black people are prone to, or susceptible to, or drawn to more so,
Drawn
like
to is
why
an interesting word too.
drawn to, like why do we run to the drama? Why when the fight happens are we run into the fight?
Oof,
Right?
oof,
Why are
oof.
we turning on the Jerry Springers? Why are we, you know, like why do we like that?
Yeah, like why does that provide entertainment, even though it's like dark at the same time, right? Yeah, like look, we like to look at the train crash or
Yeah,
the accident,
yeah,
gawk a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm turning it back to you. What do you
Okay,
think?
okay. So this is what, and this is something spirit. It was a download. It was a spiritual download. The reason why black folk are drawn to drama, the dramatic, all of that, is because drama represents the truth being revealed.
Ooh,
You
ooh.
slept with my baby daddy. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to like poke fun at anybody. Lord knows, you get what I'm saying. But like,
Uh-huh.
it's the truth has now come to the front, and now we are all bearing witness. What happened over here?
Now we all
You know what I
looking
mean?
naked. I didn't even
You
mean
know
to
what I
say it
mean?
that way,
So
but there you
people who
go. Yep. Yep.
no, I love that. Like that's it, right? Like now the veil has been pulled back, right?
Yeah.
The lies, the whatever has been holding up. Now we get into the real. And so for people who have historically been the truth has been able to evade us, right? Like we will say, hey, so and so heard me. Well, it was the political scheme of the like it becomes this thing of them telling you that
Hmm.
you didn't experience what you experienced, like another lie, another dishonest thing, right? That's why we can't get to the root of and really get past um, slavery, chattel slavery in America
Hmm.
because we can't get to the truth, right? And we're
Hmm.
quieted and we're silenced and we're all these things. And so also we're pulling on that same thread on the opposite side. The reason why a lot of non-black people, why they are conflict averse, is because they are afraid of the truth coming to the front. Don't you
Hmm.
attack that white woman because my truth is gonna come up if hers come up, so will mine. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that to me is the function of honesty, is truth and that revealing and that revelation, right? It's a revelation. It's the, and a lot of people are scared of the revelation. And so
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's amazing. What is your relationship to sharing, releasing your work, putting it out there?
What is my relationship to sharing the work and putting it out there? Sharing and releasing. I also
Yeah.
like that you use the word releasing. I don't know if you know my relationship to the word release.
I
I'll say that real
don't.
quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of the spiritual girlies love to use release, right? Like we gonna release them from us, and
Oh, yeah.
what what we don't realize is that we are always casting spells out of our mouths, right? Or maybe people do realize it, but what they say is the difference from knowing the path and walking the path, right? That's not the same
Hmm.
thing, baby. And so
Hmm.
what we don't real or what some people don't realize is that when you say release, the word re automatically keeps it on what? Repeat. And so if we're releasing these things, they are constantly coming back, even if not to you, to your children, right? To the down this lineage. And so for me, I no longer in that sense release things. I let them go forever.
That's yeah,
Like
yeah,
goodbye.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like don't ever come back here. I love the way you used it because releasing my work, I do want it to come back. I do want that to come back. So um, I do like how that you use that word. My relationship to sharing is it is not my duty, it is not my job to control how people perceive what I say, right? And what I deliver and what I give. Um, it's my duty to be thoughtful, to be intentional, to be direct, when possible, to be slightly evasive when necessary. You know what I mean? Like to
Mm-hmm.
utilize these tools, but to deliver it, right? It's for me to serve. If I'm a servant, it's not for me to say, okay, I'm giving you this story and this is how you need to feel about it and this is what
Yep.
you need to do. That ain't for me. It's for me to offer it up and to also hold space for maybe parsing through it, right? To clarifying and things like that. But that's the extent of it. To deliver it and to make sure that I am delivering what Spirit wants me to deliver, what people need me to deliver, right? Like, because there's this marriage between that. And let's be clear too, what Willie needs too, because I'm also a part of this. Like, I'm not just a servant, right? Like, I am not just working for the
Mm-hmm.
people and for Spirit. I am also a part of this as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I offer it up. And then I let people get what they need to get from it. I've been invited to participate at something called Despair Sanctuary, and it is happening at a church in downtown Brooklyn, and it's a space for grieving, right? For grieving, like for a public grievance, and I'm sitting with Spirit right now, and so this kind of even part of my process. I hope you don't mind me taking this a little over here,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
as a part of my process, like before we began, even with our storytelling, I sat with it for weeks and just
Mm-hmm.
meditated. Meditate. I don't know why I'm getting emotional right now. I can feel it like welling up over here in the back of my eye. But like I just meditated on what do I need to share? What does
Uh-huh.
Willie need to share? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need? What part of me needs to liberate myself? Right? And be
Mm-hmm.
honest and full and move me to my next version of me. And so as I'm going into this, I'm also sitting with this. The person who put it together was like, "Hey, so what are you gonna do?" And I know they're just excited.
Yep.
They're excited. They're like, "We got Willie, y'all. What you gonna do? What you gonna give us?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna tell you after Thanksgiving. Like, let me sit in it." And every single day I've been sitting with because there's so much that I'm grieving right now.
Mm-hmm.
So much that I'm grieving. Um, and I am gonna share that. I wasn't gonna say it, but like that cousin who I mentioned, Dr. Ronnie Dean, she has cancer, and she's my
Oh
favorite
no, I'm
cousin.
so sorry.
Like, and that is
Yeah.
devastating. It is
Yeah.
absolutely devastating. And I'm holding the fact that she's still here, but also the fact, and that fact, not even just still here, that she is here, right? She's here. She's here. And the fear that comes with that, the fear of
Yeah.
loss. And how do I show? Because I know I'm not the only one dealing with this right now.
Yep.
Around the world, people are grieving what is happening to the people over in Gaza and Palestine. That is heartbreaking for me. That is heartbreaking.
Tragic.
It is heartbreaking on a level that I didn't even know I could have for other people around the world, on the other side of
Mm-hmm.
the world. I'm going to say I never met. I'm sure I have met. I'm sure I have met plenty of Palestinian people, especially here in New York. But um, and it's like, how do I show up and how do I hold space for me and these emotions and understanding that the same way I'm having this, so are other people. Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I lost
Thank
what
you
you
for being
asked,
so
but I
open. No, you got it. I appreciate you for always just you bring yourself every time, and it's kind of it's getting at even um, your practice and your relationship to sharing your work. Like it's for you and it's for the people as well. And actually, you kind of got into my next question about your practice. So it sounds like you need to sit with it really, and think about what you need in the moment. I hear that as one of your steps. Hmm.
absolutely. And I think one part of this is um, I am, I will say one of the high witches that live in the world in this moment, right? Like, every few generations there are um, high witches from Marie Laveau during her time here. She's the voodoo queen, but she did, spirit workers, right? Those of us who are really close to that veil and can hear on both sides of in the physical world and the non-physical world, from Elias to Crowley and all of these people, and I know that I am one of those people now. I am the voodoo queen of today, and so the way in which I show up, it's critical, right? Like that, I understand. Like this is not light work. This is not me getting up to entertain. Yes, I'm hella entertaining. I just am, right? I could eat an alphabet right now, and you could, we could sell some
I'll be
tickets. To
hanging on
watch
your
a
words. Yeah.
I can sing the alphabet. I can rap it. I can dance the alphabet. You understand? And we can go on tour with that. I'm literally, So it's not so much that it's, am I doing the thing that my soul incarnated in this form during this time frame to do? And that is crafting these stories, telling these stories, and really communicating. For me, I understand, once again, making complex things simple and simple things complex. Being, come on, spirit, being this trumpet, right? This trumpet
Yes.
for the people who don't necessarily know how to use this as a tool, maybe they don't know how to communicate the best, right? But if I can hear what they're trying to say and I'm like, oh, okay, may I? And I'll ask them, may I? And they say yes, perfect. And then I help them to explain that, help them to express so that they can, typically if someone's saying something, it's because they have a need that's unmet, right? Whether it's holding space for them, whether it's literal physical resources, right? Financial resources, things like that. Or, it could just literally just be a hug, right? And so helping them to get what it is that they need. And that is literally why I am a community resource activist, in addition to being an entertainer and producer. It's like, help people get what they need, And so, hopefully that answers that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about your story and how you constructed it. I really love how you opened the piece because you started in the present and about how something you did recently sort of triggered a memory. And we don't know where you're going to go with it at first, which kind of that like begins to take us on this journey. You talking about Beyonce. I'm like, oh my God, Beyonce. We're like glamorized by that. And then we go somewhere else completely. Was that all intentional? Just talk to us about that a little bit.
Absolutely, right? So that, I don't know why I keep getting so goosebumps. Ooh. I think part of me feels, they're on to me.
We see you. Yes.
I know, right? Like I feel so seen, so vulnerable too. But that is literally, right? That is literally what I do. Is I set it up, right? Like, and I'm meaning to set it up and give you the glam, the glitz, the glam, because I'm aware of how people perceive me a lot. When I walk into rooms, people part like the Red Sea. Like, and it's something I've had since I was young. My grandma Bamboo used to say, Willie, if I had what you had, I'd run the world. I'd be president if I had what you. And my sister, I'm the youngest I have 3 older sisters. And my oldest sister, Sean, who's an RN nurse, but she registered nurse, but she also owns one of the largest security firms in Houston, right? And so she's like, at the time, back when she was working at hospital, she was like, Willie, if I just had what you had, I'd run this hospital. And I started to listen to them, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me pay attention to because I felt it, because I'm the one living in it, but I never knew what they meant. And once I figured out what the hell they were talking about, I was like, oh. And I began using that when I walk into the room. Like, I notice people see me. Like, I cannot stand in if I wanted to. Like, people, they feel it. You know what I mean? And so, utilizing that, I ain't gonna lie, I lost my train of thought. What was
So we were talking about how you opened the piece, right? And you got us with the glamour, the big story to start. Okay. Yes.
Thank you for that. And so I use that. I use the fact that people have this preconceived notion of who I am, especially because I'm glammed up. You know what I mean? And most people have either they admire people who are they consider glamorous, or they're envious, right? They're envious, which can lead to jealousy, which can lead to let me bump your shoulder, let me, you know, she ain't really all that no way. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it can lead to all of that. And so I use that. I use it to my advantage to then flip it and tell them, I ain't none of that. I am
Right,
in the trenches.
exactly.
I am in the streets if that's where I need to be. Right? Like, I am with the shits, as one of my friends said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can sit on a throne too, right? Like, and I mean that from a place of offering up what the people need, not from being a queen or a king. Like, I'm talking about of doing the work of a ruler. Not, you know what I mean? Not on some, you know. And so for me, setting up that world of glamour and then watching it fall to pieces. Now we are all in pieces, right? And now we're
Right.
rebuilding it together. And so
Yep.
essentially too, I kinda use that in Willie Gets Naked, right? I love to like take people, I love to cut that corner, right? Like, we are going away and then boom,
Right.
surprise, you know, I'm hitting you
Exactly.
with this. You didn't know that was coming, you know?
Right.
And so
Exactly.
and I'll do it the other way around. Like, I might start with something very low, right? Something very distraught, something very disturbing. And then there's a turning point to take people up, you know?
Yep.
I find it easier to do it the other way around, though. It's much easier to paint this picture of that people want, right? And it's like, oh yeah, you want that? Well, let me tell you how I got here. Boom.
Exactly.
You know, and most
Yep.
people are like, oh, but I don't want that part. Right. So understand, honey, it comes at a cost. You know what I mean? Like, it, you know, and all of that is kind of understood of like, because when I'm like, yeah, I was in the studio where Destiny's Child recorded their first album. I was in there with the engineer who recorded it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in there and then Maya walks in, you know? Literally, I was with my former roommate and we're sitting in her car smoking up Jay at one point, you know, and Kelly Rowland walks up to the car. Where my sister at? Asking for Solange. Like, I'm like, girl, that's Kelly Rowland right here. Like,
Oh my
you
God.
you know what I mean? But then, you know, all the other things that come along with this, you know, and so
Yeah.
yes. Thank you
Yeah.
for
It was
even,
all intentional.
so
Absolutely. I
intentional.
love that
Thank
because
you for that. Yeah.
yeah, it's very effective, and it makes me think about what we were speaking earlier about the anatomy of a good story. I think that was just so skillful because, especially when you're doing like live storytelling, it just like you spoke about it brings the audience up and then shifts them. It really does something to the emotion and the feel and like the pacing of the story. And to
And
that
now,
note, I'm curious. Oh, please go.
no, I was gonna say really quickly, and now you're actually on the journey, right? Because now you like even
Exactly.
if you feel uncomfortable, you like, ooh, but I don't want to get off because I now I gotta go all the way through.
Yep.
You know what I
Now I'm
mean?
locked in.
Now I am locked in, and I have to ride this to the end. Now I gotta see what this is, and I kind of am
Exactly.
giving the if you stick with me, it's gonna pay off. I'm kind of giving that, but like, you know, and so yeah, yeah,
Exactly. 100%. Um, I'm curious about your approach to um, live storytelling and kind of how you balance and you got at this a lot actually. So this is really perfect. About, you spoke about saying it plain. Um,
yeah.
like being conversational in nature and feeling like you're talking to somebody directly, it can look so easy, like you're just speaking, but there's a lot more that goes into that. I know. Do you start with writing on the page a little bit, and then does it sort of you go with the flow as once you get on stage? That wasn't the smoothest
Uh,
question, but I hope you get what I'm getting at.
No, 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 no. That was actually perfect, and it was so fun.
Okay.
It's so interesting too because I was gonna say something else with the last one, and this is it. This is girl. Spirit is in here. Spirit is up in here. Okay. Fascinating. So, my process of writing, I write my beats. I know my beats, right? I
Mm,
know what I want to say, and I know where I want to say them. How I get there is um, the journey, right? It is the I want to use other words than journey right now. It is the process. How I get there is the birthing process, right? Like is the traveling. Look, I'm trying not to say journey again, but it is the journey, right? And so first I knew my beats and I wrote my beats
Mm-hmm.
down, and then I actually write the entire story, and I write it in my language. I write it in my voice. I write it like I'm sitting here talking to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, so I'm telling you, when I turned that corner and boom, 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 and then I was like, whoa, like what?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm writing it as, because honestly, we've heard all the other things. We've heard, the only thing that the world has not heard is my take on it, right? Like,
Right.
like we've heard stories be told before, but what you haven't heard is Willie tell Willie's story before. And so, so I need to season it the way that I season my food, my
Mm-hmm.
stories when I'm talking to my friends, and I need people to feel like we are friends. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Also, with that, wait, what was the first part of that story? That question, because I
Yeah,
like to
yeah, just
touch on
like
that
kind
too.
of how you balance, and you got at that too. Like so you do start by writing on the page, and I'm just curious how how that then translates to being on stage and like the delivery. I guess that's kind of what I'm
Thank you
getting
for
at.
that. Thank you for that. So
Mm-hmm.
the being on stage part, and that's literally what I was about to say, the being on stage part. Um,
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things is surrendering. Surrender, right? I've done my work to this point. I've studied, I've memorized what needs to be memorized. I know my beats, right? Now it is me, and it's not just me though. And this is how I approach entertaining, period, being on the stage. Throw out that whole, oh, you're here to entertain me, let me shut up and sit back. No, honey, we in this together. You here? Show up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody show up, right? And so, and I'm gonna give some of my little secrets here, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
as an entertainer, the first thing, and I gave this to one of the babies. I won't tell you. I mean, babies. One of the other performers,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, I shared this with them, and they were really nervous, and they did an amazing job. But the thing I told them is, I walk into the room understanding that everyone is already on my side, right?
Yes.
Everyone, especially if I'm entertaining. Now, if I'm giving a speech before city council, maybe not. Actually, no, people still want, on some level, to hear what you're saying. They don't want to hear you
Mm-hmm.
fumble. You get what I'm saying? Even if they are
Mm-hmm.
in opposition
Mm-hmm.
to what you're saying, they want to hear you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want you to get it out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go in understanding that everybody's already rooting for me. It is my job
Mm-hmm.
to now keep you on my side.
Mm-hmm.
It is my
Mm-hmm.
job to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I keep you with me.
This is great. Yeah.
And I do that by remaining vulnerable. And if I trip, let me trip. Let me fall. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Up. Look at that, y'all. Up. We back though. And you get
Yep.
what I'm
Yep.
saying? And that endears people to you even more. Right?
Absolutely.
You know, the other day I was on a
Yes.
call and I said I blew a drink. And I was like, oh, I meant I drew a blank. And everyone, we all laughed together. It was a collective, like, oh, did y'all hear that? Because I said I blew a drink. That is funny. That's a funny Freudian slip, you know? And so,
Yeah.
um, and so then it lightens the mood too. It lightens it up, you know? I will mention from when I did Willie Gets Naked this summer. One of my favorite part, yeah. Okay, so I should mention we break the fourth wall twice, and we have a conversation with the audience, right? And during this conversation, it's not scripted. It's the only part of the show where it's not scripted. Everything else is scripted, and so
Mm.
I don't, and I did that intentionally because I was like, you know what? When this show gets to Broadway and I'm performing this night after night, I will be bored as hell if I'm like, okay,
Right.
all right,
Right.
hit the
Right.
mark.
Right.
I'm gonna be bored. I'm gonna be bored. So I was like, I need something to make sure that I'm always present, and I have to be to listen to people and hear where they are and really respond in in an honest and intentional way. And so anyway, there was this moment. My favorite part of the show, I swear to God, was my favorite moment. I say to the audience, I'm like, look, in this moment, we are going to take a stand together. I was like, all of us in this room, we are going to take a stand and we're going to begin to define ourselves for ourselves. And in that moment, a girl in the front row slowly stood up and I was like, oh, well, I mean, you can stand up if you want to, but what I was saying was we're going to. And collectively, everybody in the room just like we, and I love it. And then I went and I just went and high-fived her and I was like, girl, I was like, look, you are invited to any show I do. I was like, matter of fact, you the leader now. You the leader. I was like, if she goes to the bathroom, we all gotta follow her, goddammit, okay? She you know, and
she was willing, she was down. She surrendered to the experience. She was committed. She was there.
Everybody stand up now. Now everybody
yes.
And so that was and it made for an unforgettable moment for me because I was like, whoa, okay. And it showed me too to be very aware of my words, right? Because people will listen. So be very aware. What you're calling them, what actions are you calling them to do? Like, be very careful, be very intentional, but also it was just fun. It was funny, and so I love that moment of, it makes you even more human, right? It's just, and everybody's in on it. So like, yeah.
Yes, I love that. I have 2 more questions for you before we go to our final activity. And this is not a question. It's more like a thought that I just want to pose to you and see how you respond. Because I've been noticing in the way you speak, you carry your family with you in everything that you say. There's always a way to like invoke someone to give a tidbit about them. And like, it's just like this patchwork of your identity. I think it's so interesting. Like, I love how you're always, when you speak, you tell stories. In even answering questions, you're able to reach from memory or reference an elder. I don't know I don't know how you receive that, if you have any thoughts about that, and maybe how we see that show up in your art and in your work, your family, your legacy, your history.
How beautiful. Thank you for that. No, seriously, because I do a lot of mirror magic. And so in this moment, and most times, I am a mirror for most other people. But I love when people are mirroring me back to me, right? Because I don't see me a lot. I mean, I do. She's going to look in the mirror. She's going to take a photo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to look at it. But, thank you for letting me see me. What did they say? The butterfly doesn't get to see its wings, right? Like, it doesn't get to witness its own beauty. And so thank you for that. Like, I know I do it, but I didn't realize I do it as much as I do until you just said it. And so with that, that's very telling, because something that's been eating at me a little bit is I went home back when Beyonce was in Houston, when I shared the story. I went home for 2 weeks. And so I didn't get homesick, but I saw what I'm missing by being in New York, being around my big ass, black ass, accomplished ass, hood adjacent ass family in Houston. You know what I mean? Like, I missed it. I missed them, and I've been blessed to build a beautiful family here too. But I guess that is my way of carrying them with me, and I never knew that until you said that.
Yeah,
like,
super beautiful.
Even in, and it's so funny too, in high school, like I said, I've always been the one pulled in to speak on stuff. So I was pulled in to do some kind of, I think James Weldon Johnson, God's Trombone, we performed it. And one of the girls who was in it with me, she was like, do you realize that your voice changes? Like, you have a lot of different voices. I was like, wait, what? No, I don't. And I started listening. I was like, oh shit, that girl, she was right. I do. I have, like, even now, if you listen back to this, you'll hear multiple different voices, almost multiple different accents. Like, I'm gonna go real Southern with it, and then I'm gonna go and then my godson is funny because he'd be like, sometimes you sound like you from New Orleans, like, and I do, because it's in there, and so even that voice, some of that voice is like my grandmother. Like I can hear Bamboo's voice sometime, and and sometimes when I'm delivering things, I go into her voice, you know. And it's funny because I'll talk to certain family members, and they'll be like, "Willie, I can't talk to you because you're gonna make me cry," like, you know, because I'm the one that got it from her.
Yes.
I was the one who,
Yes.
yeah, it's, you know,
Yes.
it's an honor to be the one chosen to be, you get what I'm saying, to carry that
Yep.
on, you know.
Yes.
And that is even I'll mention me being an entertainer. You know, she was the one when I was like, Bamboo, I want to move to New York. She was like, go, hurry up and go, go. You know, she used to love to say, you ain't got no kids crying for milk. Go, go, go. And so I went, and you know, she wanted to be a model. See, here I go, right? Just see, but these are the things that
It's there.
that
There it
drive
is. It's
me.
all there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my girl, y'all, she was, oh my God, she was so beautiful. Bamboo was gorgeous. I mean, honey, the color of just midnight, just dark and beautiful. And she didn't grow no hair, y'all. She was, they used to call her Black Stallion because in the marching band, she was drum major, honey. Even when she got older, she'd get up and she, Lord, she gonna beat me somewhere in the spirit world. She used to take her gown, tuck into her panties, and she would march around that house and show up. You know, and one of my most beautiful. And so when I got into the marching band, she was like, "Oh, I can show you a thing or two," and so they wanted her to be a model. Softine Carson wanted her to model, and she couldn't do it because she had 4 kids. And she was like, "I'm gonna take care of my children," right? And she chose that. And so when I told her I wanted to be an entertainer, she said, "Go," you know. And so I know every time I'm on that stage, every time I open my mouth, I am speaking for her. I am doing the
Yes.
thing that
Yes.
she couldn't do. And I feel it. I feel it. I feel her. I feel her in it, you know? And so, and it's not just her, you know, my on my mother's side, that's my dad's side. On my mother's side, um, my mother was Mia Harper, and her brother was Benny Harper, who was, if you look up Benny Harper, Uncle Benny is what I call him. He was a soul singer, a famous soul singer out of Houston. I didn't know him very well because I didn't know my mom's side of the family very well, but literally you can YouTube his music. I'll send it to you. And
Yes.
I'm actually gonna remake one of his songs, but yeah, like I'm carrying that legacy on both sides, right? And so
Yes.
I know that I'm the one to fucking do it, you know.
Period.
So I'm,
Absolutely.
yeah, like,
And you
and so
are.
I'm doing,
And you know what?
I'm doing it.
That leads me perfectly to my last question for you. What do you hope people understand about you and the world through your practice, through your work, through your art?
I hope people understand. I'm gonna be crying for the rest of the day, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, I
I
love
need it.
you.
I needed this because I've been trying to cry for days, and so what I want people to understand about me and the world, right? Like me, and then me, my place in the world, just is that I'm only ever trying my best to come from a place of authenticity. I am not worried about the systems that are in place. I don't give a fuck about none of these systems because almost all of them have tried to kill me. They have all tried to kill me in various forms, from the healthcare system to the prison industrial complex to even now working in the nonprofit industrial complex. Like, they are all anti-blackness at their root, right? Anti-black at their root. And so I am not here to serve those systems. You know, growing up, my daddy used to call me, you know, back when I identified as a boy, he called me his giant killer, you know, like I was his youngest son, you know, I was David to him. I was his giant killer. And I say, and it took me, and mind you, that's a lot to sit with when you're young, because like that feels heavy. It's like, oh shit, I gotta fight
Yeah.
giants. Like, you know, like it's a lot of pressure. And I often say now, yes, I am the giant killer. And so I don't fight humans, honey. I don't fight small, and I don't mean, you know, like to diminish, but like, I'm here to fight these fucking systems and tear these hoes down because I can. You know what I mean? Because I'm speaking from a place of honesty and truth, and just, and from a place of experience. You know what I mean? Like, I am a Black American descendant of American homegrown chattel slavery in Texas. We are the reason everyone celebrates Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yes.
You understand? So if not me, then who? You know, if not someone who has lived at all of these margins, then who the hell gonna do it? And so it's only coming from a place of liberating our people. And by us, I mean everyone who thinks like us, everyone who is about the people, period. I can go on and on with that, but that's just what, for me. And then for the
Yes.
world, what I want people to understand is we can all decolonize ourselves. We can all unplug from that. I was forced to do it from a drug addiction. It forced me to do it, right? But we can all, and not just we can all, it is necessary for all of us to decolonize our minds, decolonize our spirituality. Your spirit is like, it can't, the most grounding thing cannot be colonized, right? The thing that has gotten us through cannot be colonized, right? It must be free. It must be feel liberated, right? It must be without chains or without the gaze of whiteness or rightness. Like, it is, I saw a tweet somewhere that said, my gut is my God. Yes, my gut is my God. My gut. In voodoo, we call it the connaissance, the knowing. In your stomach, you know what it is. Before somehow, you know what you're supposed to do. You knew that shit. You knew you was going to say that. You knew you knew it. We know. But we've been conditioned to not honor that, right? Focus on your logic, keep your head down, get back to work, make these billionaires money.
Right.
That is not going to save none of us. And some of us, last thing I'll say within this, within the Liberation Front, I've realized the most, in the struggle for freedom, the people who kind of are holding up the most or are stopping progress the most are the people in the middle class, the folk who were locked out of systems prior now have garnered a little bit and refuse to let that go. That's why, and I'm gonna give another little tool, and this is a tool for anyone who wants to kind of utilize power in a space, any space you walk into. The power is at the top and the bottom.
Ooh.
I use this at my university, Sam Houston State University, where she was homecoming king, darling, right? When I came in, I knew I wanted to be homecoming king because I knew it was a legacy of Black folk at this predominantly white institution collectivizing, voting Black folk up, and us winning, right? It was beautiful to witness. But tool that I use is I got to know where the power lies. So it was the janitors, right? The food workers. Those were the people who gave me access to literally sometimes when I have money, not even sometimes when I have money, they wouldn't even let me use my money after when it was like,
Right.
really, go on, get on before you get spit on. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, get your food and go. Also access into rooms that we needed to go and have meetings in, right? They knew all the business because they had worked there for 20, 30 years.
Exactly.
They knew all the tea. They knew everything. They knew who was real. They knew who wasn't. They knew who got fired. They knew. And then at the top, the president of the university. I made sure that he knew my name. Every time he saw me, hey, President Gardner. Hey, it's Willie. Oh, yeah, good to see you. Because the people at the top are not trying to prove anything to anybody. Normally. With billionaires, I don't know. That I got to do some more work there. But for the most part, in a CEO, traditionally, or people on the board, they're not trying to prove anything. Not really. Even with that, it's a little whatever, but also people at the bottom. They know where they are. And I mean, they know who they are. They not trying to be the CEO, but the people in the middle are either trying to prove that they're not poor, they're not at the bottom, or they're trying to work their way to the top. And so if we could get those people to understand, you might need to risk it in the short term to win in the long term. Risk it. Okay, you got that nice house, but maybe risk it. I ain't saying give it up. I'm saying risk it though. And losing it might be a part of it to gain something for the greater good. But I don't know if we there yet. But anyway, that's
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if we there yet. They're like my
I don't
house.
know. Right. Because I get it, right? Like I don't have no kids crying for milk yet. So I can't,
Right,
I
right,
don't know
right.
what it
You
feels
can
like
be
to
a
be
little more
like,
risky. Hmm.
yeah. And even I can even not even just be a little more risky, I can even entertain it. You get what I'm saying? Right?
Yes.
Some of them are scared to even entertain it because of I can't even think about that because my kids got to get up tomorrow morning and go to school. So I can't
Hmm.
even I'm
Hmm.
not going to even play in y'all game, in y'all liberation. Y'all do what y'all do. I'm gonna go over here where I know it's safe though, and where I know my
Yeah,
kids gonna have what they
exactly.
need. So
Hmm.
I get it, but it's going to happen. That's the thing. It's going to happen with or without people's
Inevitable.
participation. So you might as well show the fuck up, or else it's gonna. If it don't happen to them, it's gonna happen to their kids, and
Hmm.
they might not have the tools to survive it though. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They might
Hmm.
not. Because anyway, I can do this. I can I can do this. Yeah. Let's move
Oh,
on to that
okay.
last one.
I love it. Yeah, we go to the last one. All right. So if you remember
Yes.
Willie at the event, at the release, we had these
Yeah.
conversation cards that everybody was given when they walked in the door. And we had some folks come up on stage and pose questions to one another. So I want you to answer one of these questions right now as we close out. We have 73 questions here. So you can pick a number between 1 and 73.
The radical in me was like 74. Wait a minute. Okay. You know what? Because she's in her sexual liberation, you already know which number. Let's go.
I already knew you was going to do that. I literally knew this was what she was going to do.
69.
69.
69.
Ismatu did the same thing too. I knew you were gonna do that. That is so hilarious.
Wait a
Okay.
minute. Pause. I am so glad you said her. We have built such a beautiful relationship. Oh my God, man, it's my
Oh, I
two.
love that so
Oh my
much.
God, she just texted me this morning. We have this note. We have like in the notes on our phone, and we
Yes.
record voice notes just walking around, and then we upload it in there, and then we write notes about what the other person said, and then we leave a note, and it is the most
Oh, I love that so
beautiful,
much.
beautiful relationship that like I'm like, oh, this is my friend for life, and I is going to it's already feeding the little kid in me. Oh my God,
Did you
just
see the
I thank you
pictures?
for
I'm sure you've seen the pictures that you all have together. There's something magical in those
oh
photographs y'all have with each other.
my
It's so
favorite,
that makes me so
my
happy.
favorite. Oh yes,
Well, you
yes,
both
yes.
picked the same number. I mean, I knew it. Literally knew that that's what was about to happen. So the question for number 69 is, what's the most incredible journey or adventure you've ever undertaken on foot?
Ooh, ooh. Can I pick another? No, I'm joking. Hold on, let me. The most incredible thing taken on foot. Huh. I'm gonna say. Oh, it might sound like I'm phoning this one in, but I would say living in New York City in general.
Hmm.
Being someone who
Yeah,
is not
absolutely.
from this city, I walk around the city. I have walked literally from 135th down to 42nd Street. And at the time I was smoking and like smoking a joint and like, or I think I smoked like three from it needed to get me the whole way, okay?
Right,
Um,
exactly.
but I once again, as I'm walking, spirit is also speaking to me, and it was revealed to me too that New York City is the perfect place to be a witch, because, and when I say witch, I mean what's at the root of what I use is numerology, because numbers tell so much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, elements of astrology, of course, being a Virgo, all those things, like how, but also just allowing spirit to. I don't know if I told you this. I'm gonna tell you this real quick too. You see this right here? Can you see this split in the middle of my head?
No, I can't, it's a little blurry, but okay,
No.
I can see. Uh-huh.
Okay, don't worry.
Yes.
And I'll show you in person. But right in between my eyebrows, I have a little gash going up and down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was young, when I was an infant, my sister used to always beg my dad, could I sleep in top bunk bed with her? Right. She's 4 years older than me. Mary. He would always say no. And one night he was like, okay, you can sleep. He let me sleep in top bunk bed with her. I guess during the night I try to climb down and I fall and crack my head on the floor. My dad said he came in the room and I was laying in a dried puddle of blood all night.
Oh my God.
And he came and grabbed. I know, right? Like he said it was a puddle and it was dried. And he said he came and he took me and shook me, and it was like, really, And then I started crying, and so he was like, thank God, and got Mary up and took me to the hospital. Now during my former addiction to crystal meth, it was revealed to me that I had actually died in that moment. That I died, and a spirit who I work with by the name of Ilegua, or Eshu for those who may know the Orisha, who's also the god of communication. He meets you at the crossroads wearing red and black, and he's not an angel, he's not a demon. He asks you which way you want to go, because each path is a path, right? And so he put me back in my body and was like, look, you want a mind? Let's go. And so ever since then, I've had one ear in the physical world, one ear in the spirit world. But that's since being a toddler. And also, of course, our pineal gland is right here, which is known as the antenna, right? Like that's literally our third eye. That was the Egyptians, if you cut the head and turn to the side, it, is the third eye. And so that was their way of communicating that is it, right? And so mine was blasted open from a young age, and from my understanding and research, it was believed that the pineal gland was calcified in most white people. And when black men started being killed in the Vietnam War and they would do autopsies, they saw that it was actually beaming.
Wow.
And so, yeah. Now, I say do your research on it, but just because this is from my findings. But once again, who's telling this story, right? Who's going to tell you that, that you have this access? And so anyway, mine has been blasted open since I was an infant. And so I thought we all were walking around having these experiences of hearing from spirit and hearing from. And I realized, oh shit, everybody ain't doing that. And so that helped me to understand too, me being the voodoo queen, me having this access. And so I'll be walking around the city and I'll hear spirit be like, turn here. And I'll just turn. And I run into someone. You know what I mean? Literally, I was in Williamsburg and was walking on right after getting sober. Was broke. Didn't even have money to get on the train. So I was like, I'm going to walk to Bed-Stuy. And I hear spirit tell me to talk to this woman who's walking a dog. And I just like, okay, I'll talk to her. She gives me, and she's like, oh, she has a restaurant on North 6 with a performance space in the back. And she's like, if you want, you can have your show there for free. So the first time I performed Willie Gets Naked as a cabaret show, it was free of charge on my birthday in the back of this lady's restaurant. And it was phenomenal,
That's amazing.
And so it's just listening. And so for me, that on foot journey, walking around this city, baby, there are so many spiritualists who have come before me who have laid little things in little places. It's like being on a scavenger hunt. And so for me, I love, and give me at 3:00 in the morning, go to Times Square, walk around, baby, because that reminds me.
That's a little crazy.
Now when I first moved here, I was broke as hell, and I was hungry, and I needed to remind myself why I moved here.
Oh, it would inspire you?
Okay. Did you not hear when Alicia Keys said?
Right. Yes. You just gotta go see the lights.
Yes. Like I had to see move here. I didn't move here to be a drug addict. I did not move here to fall in love, even though that's a part of it. I moved here to make it. To see my name, my face up in them, and it reminded me. and it kept me, you know. So walking around this city, and then I get, and last thing I'll say, our neighborhood, it changes over quite frequently. The gentrification of it all, the people moving in. But as someone who is very deeply rooted in the community, on boards and organizations and things like that, it allows me to see what is evolving, what's changing. And so literally,
Yes.
I walk around, I walk on foot because that, driving past is one thing, but like being able to say, oh, that's cute, let me pop in here. Oh, what are y'all? Okay, y'all are, a CBD and, bakery. Okay. And then to meet the people, right? So it's really the people. And that's why everybody around here know Willie the Genius, the Voodoo
Yep.
Queen. It
Yep.
just is what it
Exactly.
is. So, you know?
Oh,
So yeah.
yes. That you did not phone that answer in at all. That was a beautiful answer. Perfect answer. Perfect. Willie,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. I literally love speaking with you every time. You always have something wonderful to offer. Yeah,
Like,
looking forward to more. Thank you.
absolutely. And
I'm gonna
likewise,
hit
thank
stop.
you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking of me
Yes.
initially. It was an honor. That event was amazing. It
Thank you,
was. I think I
Willie.
met a few possible boo things up in there for real. We're going to have to talk offline. A few. A few too.
A few.
Honey, the things we're thinking. It was 69. I say not to know.
A
Okay.
60. I love
Seriously,
it.
thank you. Thank you. And then thank you for this. This is a beautiful tie up. And also, just to point you real quick, you are an expert at what you do. You are incredible. You are incredible at what you do. You hold space in the most beautiful way. You may have been the best I brat, but you ain't really no brat no more, honey. You're not even a brat to me. Like you, and maybe we'll talk about what brat means to you, but no, you are one of the most beautiful, thoughtful, kind, down to earth people I know, and I am honored to be in community with you. Seriously, I am honored,
Likewise.
deeply honored.
Likewise. Oh, I love
Thank
you. Thank you,
you. I
Willie.
love you. Thank you.